if they meet their burden at a preliminary examination, what do you think happens at that point?
We'd have to go on to the preliminary or trial, depending on what your decision.
All right. Date and time set for a preliminary examination. Are people ready to proceed?
That is correct, Your Honor. People are ready to proceed. A few things at the outset. I would ask defendant be reminded of his absolute right to an attorney for
Yes,
this.
I will get there.
Okay, and I also asked Ms. Gaines to be present if Your Honor would be willing to appoint standby counsel if defendant does not want to be assigned an attorney. I also am going to make an offer to Mr. Jolly to plead to an added count 3 and 4 of aggravated assault under MCL 750.81A. That is a 1 year and or $1,000 misdemeanor offense. In exchange, I would dismiss counts 1 and 2, which are criminal sexual conduct in the 4th degree, which are 2-year misdemeanors and are $500. And would require registration on the sex offender registry. This is the first opportunity I've had to speak with Mr. Jolly, so I would ask that he decide if he wants to move forward with the exam or if he wants to take that offer.
What's the offer?
The offer is to plead to an added count 3 and 4 of aggravated assault, which is a 1-year misdemeanor and or $1,000 fine.
But what's the suggestion? I mean, that's not a plea. I understand that you're changing the charges, but there's no plea. What's the plea?
That is the plea offer. And then I would dismiss count 1 and 2, which are currently charged with, which is criminal sexual conduct in the 4th degree. That is the plea offer, sir.
So what's the jail time? A year in jail is what you're offering?
The maximum penalty for that is a year in jail.
There is no plea. So you just want me to
Hold it, Mr. Jolly, Mr. Jolly.
I'm just trying to understand.
No, you're trying to argue. Mr. Jolly. They've offered you, that's an offer.
I don't want to
Okay.
accept it.
But hold on, before you just start making these rash decisions, because that's how you're where you are right now. Okay? So first thing I want to advise you is today's the time set for your preliminary examination, and you've elected to represent yourself. I will tell you that having watched you through the various proceedings, I have some concerns about you representing yourself. And but you're absolutely have a right to do so. But I need you to understand that you're charged with 2 felony offenses or high court misdemeanor offenses of criminal sexual conduct in the 4th degree. You understand that, sir? You understand that they're punishable by up to 2 years incarceration, $500 fine plus court costs, mandatory HIV STD testing, and DNA would be, well, DNA was taken upon your arrest. Do you understand that, sir? All right. Now, you understand that there are grave dangers that can occur by you proceeding on your own without counsel. All right. You understand also that I'm not here to play favorites to either side. And so I will not be in a position where I can assist you in any way. I will hold you to the exact same standards regarding court rule, presentation of evidence, and everything along those lines that I would hold the people to. You understand that? You understand that if you wish at any point to be represented by counsel to help assist you in any way, that the court would make sure that counsel would be provided to you.
I do understand.
All right. Now, Mr. Jolly, and I'm going to say this, not necessarily part of the admonitions, I'm very concerned that you don't know what the proceeding that you're in right now is.
The preliminary examination, when you told me initially, you told me that when preliminary examination happened, you told me that the two of us.
That what?
The the two alleged victims would be here on today's.
I didn't say that.
Okay, so they don't have to be here today?
I did not say that.
They're supposed to be here.
Do you know what proceeding you're in? Okay, let me ask you this. If the people are successful at a preliminary examination, what do you believe happened?
To ask for a request to move on preliminary, and I'm also asking for a jury trial today.
Okay,
Request a jury
But-
trial, then I would.
Mr. Jolly. If the people meet the burden, what do you think happens?
Pardon, what?
If they meet their burden at a preliminary examination, what do you think happens at that point?
We'd have to go on to either preliminary or trial, depending on what your decision.
You understand that you're at the preliminary now.
He said it was examination, but if this is preliminary, we can move on to trial. I'm okay with that. I expected there to be two witnesses here today, two alleged victims here today. That's what I expected. And I think that is right, according to the way it should have been. I thought that was right. I am asking where the two witnesses are, two alleged victims, yeah.
Mr. Jolly, I understand you want to get to a certain point. I have concerns about whether you understand what you're doing.
Yes, I do.
What do you believe you're doing?
Trying to get to trial. Proven innocent.
You understand you don't have to prove your innocence.
I understand that you would have to prove, so the courts, whoever the state would have to prove me being guilty. Beyond a reasonable doubt. And
Mr. Jolly, have you,
we have where are the two alleged victims that were supposed to be here today? Question.
sir, I'm not sure how the people are going to proceed in their case. Okay? So I'm not going to answer your question because I don't have the answer to that. Do you understand the offer that the people have made to you?
I do
Pardon?
understand the offer.
What do you understand the offer is being? What? Mr. Jolly, do not overtalk me because it will never work. Are we clear? Mr. Jolly, are we clear? Are we clear? Do you understand the offer that the people have made? What do you understand that offer to be?
They said they're dropping from the CSC they're requiring, but they're dropping them to assault. So there's still two charges and up to a year.
But two misdemeanors
Correct.
that may not have any incarceration with it.
Problem is I didn't do anything. So it's really hard to plead anything. So.
Let me ask you this, Mr. John. They don't have to represent you. All right. But would you at least like to talk to an attorney about what that offer means and what risks that you're potentially taking in just outright saying no, as opposed to whatever? Would you at least like to talk to an attorney about that?
I'm just gonna move on. To be honest, I'm just gonna move on.
You're not answering my question. Would you at least like to talk to an attorney? I'm not trying to have you bind to anything, but just to have somebody explain to you what it means. Would you at least like to talk to somebody? I'm not even saying.
Honestly, okay. I'm just upset.
What?
I'm upset with the entire court process.
Okay, you can be upset with the entire court process. I just want to make sure you understand everything that you're doing and to provide you an opportunity to talk with legal counsel to explain this and that. That doesn't take it out of being your decision.
Right.
But at least you can talk to somebody and get more information in making that decision.
And I have no need for it. If you're required, I'll talk.
I'm not requiring you, Mr. Jolly, quit playing the victim. I'm not requiring you to do anything. I'm offering you an opportunity to talk with a lawyer so that at least everything can be explained to you before you make a decision. Because my concern is that you're making a rash decision heading forward, not quite understanding entirely what you're doing. You're trying to get someplace, and I don't think you know where you really want to get to.
Thank you. Trial. I thought there was a preliminary to this. There's not.
There's a preliminary today. You understand that?
I would ask for a jury trial.
Okay, that's it. I'm done. I explained to you at the last proceeding when a jury is going to happen and when these proceedings are going to happen. Because at this point, do not overtalk me again. I'm done trying to deal with you. I thought that there was at least some rationality to your thought process and what you're trying to do. I am very concerned about that. I'm very concerned about your competency to be able to stand trial and to head forward. Because you're not tracking what I'm telling you. You don't have to agree with me, but you're not even tracking what I'm telling you. You're off on something else. I thought the last time we were here that was some sort of aberration and not something that is fit you. And I explained to you that we were going to this proceeding, and I don't think you know what proceeding you're in. And you keep saying at times the same thing to me, although I explained to you process-wise how this happens. And so what I'm going to do on my own motion, for good or for bad, but I have to make sure and be sure that this is going to happen. And in light of the activities also of the bond violations, I'm going to refer to dependency on my own motion for competency in this case.
Can I just go talk with the attorney?
And Ms. Willingring, if you would be so kind for the court to prepare an order to that respect, I'll set a competency hearing for, give me 60 if we can get it done. We'll have to turn it out.
June 27th at 9 a.m.
June 27th, 2024, 9 a.m. is when I'll set his competency hearing, and I'll look forward to the order.
Question.
Now, do you want, you indicated you want to talk with an attorney.
If you would like me to talk with an attorney instead, that's okay, yeah.
No, it's not instead. If you want to talk with an attorney, Mr. Jolly, I will make sure that that happens. Do you want to talk to an attorney?
Put me through competency then.
No, I'm not putting you through anything.
June
Do you
27th.
want to talk to an attorney? Yes or no?
Yeah, sure, I'll talk with him, but I don't.
Fine. Ms. Gaines, he does not wish to have appointment. Would you assist the court in speaking with Mr. Jolly? I've set it for competency, but maybe he has asked for some legal advice. Can you assist the court in that way, Ms. Gaines?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So we'll do that. I'll have his bond continue. You can take the defendant back, and Ms. Gaines will be back there to talk to you momentarily, sir.
One more question, just the jury trials, that's still.
That's the problem. You don't even understand where you are in the, no, you don't. No, you don't. I'm done. Bye. Court calls the case of the people versus Brian Gerard.
Good afternoon, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Gerard. Mr. Gerard, please state your name.
Brian Gerard.
Your Honor, we have reviewed the PSI report and the sentence recommendation. At this time, we do not have any objection to that recommendation.
Anything you'd like to say before I impose sentence?
Let's do it. Sorry.
Okay.
How you been?
Been good,
I've
thanks.
seen you in 3 years.
Yeah, I know. It's been a bit. $125 fines and court costs. $599.95 restitution to target payable through the court. I'll order 365 days in jail credit, 217 served. The defendant is to serve the balance.
Thank you.
Thank you. Court calls case People versus Kyle Jackson.
Carolyn Foster Tucker on behalf of Kyle Jackson.
Kyle Jackson.
All right.
Your Honor, we're here for sentencing. We have reviewed the probation's recommendation and we don't have any corrections or objections. I did just want to say that Mr. Jackson has been involved in his treatment and is doing well and plans to continue. So I'm sure he'll be a successful candidate for probation. And I believe he wanted to speak as well.
All right, very good. Mr. Jackson, what do you want to say?
Yes, sir. First, I would like to apologize to your court, Your Honor, for this incident that occurred. It's important for me to say something because I've never had anything like this happen to me before. I'm not the type of person to take action or any of the the reason that I was up here was not for any ruckus or to get in any kind of trouble. The kids that just graduated from swim school that I paid for, and they wanted to go swimming and they wanted to go to the big amusement thing the next day. So I paid for everybody's rooms, my daughter, my niece, nephew, everybody that was involved in the swim school. My wife was coming up second shift. I got here first because I was a day shifter. We went to the restaurant across the street from the hotel. I was thinking I was getting a nice hotel, the Regent. I booked it online, paid for it online, and my wife and everybody's coming up, so I figured I'd splurge a little bit since I was doing okay at the time. Nice 4.5, 5-star place. When my daughter and I got there, everything was going okay with the clerk, and then from the side, I guess she was the manager, just came up and said, "Hey, you don't have to stay here." I was kind of taken back. She said, "Yeah, you can leave." And I mean, she went from 0 to 100 so fast that, I had already paid for it. So I guess maybe she thought I was getting attitude when I asked for a receipt or some kind of proof so that I could maybe possibly get my money back. But as I was leaving, I noticed that she had grabbed the phone, and I'm like, wow, it didn't hit me at first until, I got in, I'm calling my wife, my sister, telling her what happened. I'm upset. Your Honor, I just didn't think about it at the time that I was drinking champagne and wine at the restaurant across the street. It was not in my mind to say, you know what, I was drinking, let me jump in the car. It was just, I was upset and I wanted to get home. And when I was getting on the freeway in the 75, they pulled us over right under the bypass. And that's when everything came up. I didn't mean to have a panic attack. All those lights, I didn't have a coat on. It was winter still. Those lights, my military background is documented because I have, had some things with PTSD and things through that. But I just want to apologize and just really express that I never drive with my kids, with any of the kids in the car, and we were not there for part of it. We were not there for that.
Court does acknowledge this is not a serious misdemeanor as defined by statute, however, does believe there are reasonable grounds to depart from a non-probationary sentence. The alcohol screening and assessment identifies the benefit of outpatient treatment, mental health therapy, and abstinence from all intoxicants. Therefore, the court will follow the recommendation of probation with the stated rehabilitative goals to promote change, prevent recidivism, and to monitor compliance of recommended treatment. It's the sentence of the court. You're placed on 18 months probation. You're to pay $855 fines and court costs, $100 prosecution recovery costs, $100 police agency recovery costs, $540 probation oversight fees. When can that be paid?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but I kind of lost my job over this case, and I'm still in the process of looking for one. I lost my insurance as well, so I had to apply for Medicare, something else to try to help me get into this or back into this program I was trying to get into. And I also got in touch with the VA to see if there were some options. I got full custody of my daughter, my niece and nephew, so I got a lot on my plate right now. So if you could,
We'll have a payment plan that's set up by probation.
thank you.
There should be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to testing as requested by probation. You're to complete outpatient substance abuse therapy with status reports to probation. Attend mental health therapy with proof to probation. Attend 2A meetings per week with monthly verification to probation. You're to provide proof of victims impact panel attendance, also to probation. I'll continue to scram tether for an additional 30 days in lieu of 4 days in jail. I will order 93 days in jail. Credit 1, the balance is suspended. Thank you. Just call the case, People versus Dominique Kelly Payne.
Good afternoon, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Kearney on behalf of Mr. Kelly Payne. Mr. Kelly Payne, can you please state your name for the record?
Afternoon, is Dominic Kelly Payne.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Just clear on behalf of probation. Your Honor, Mr. Kelly Payne is before the court on two of his probation cases, one being that of a prosecutor deferred, the other is not. In both cases, Your Honor, Mr. Payne has failed to pay fines and costs. His last payment to the court in one case was made in August of 2023. The other case, he has made no payments whatsoever. He failed to complete the BEP class, failed to complete community service, failed to report probation as directed, failed to complete the CPO program or comparable program, and also failed to provide proof of mental health treatment. Your Honor, also Mr. Kelly Payne does have new criminal cases that are pending, 2 felonies, one being uttering and publishing, and the other being stolen property, second offense, notice in RNC, a motor vehicle, failed financial transaction device, steal without consent, and weapons carrying concealed, and a durable license suspended. Probation is aware that the felony cases are still pending. However, he is in violation of all the other terms of his probation. As to case ending in 0713, probation is recommending that the court revoke the prosecutor deferred sentence and enter the conviction. Sentence him to 89 days in jail with credit for his 89 days served, waive remaining terms, accept his financial obligations, and discharge him from probation without improvement. As to the case ending in 0366, probation is recommending 365 days in jail with credit for 87 days served, to serve the balance, that he complete the in-jail Dawn Farm program, waive remaining terms of his probation, accept the financial obligations, and discharge without improvement.
Your Honor, I did have a conversation with Mr. Kelly Payne. I did review probation's recommendation with him. I would ask that you sentence him to time served on both cases, discharge him from probation today. If not, I would ask that the court add a provision that he may be allowed to be released to inpatient treatment. He is being held on 2 other matters. I don't know what the outcomes of those cases will be. However, he would like to do some kind of treatment. He is going to do Dawn Farms in the jail, but would like to do something more intensive if possible. And if he is released on those pending felonies.
Is there anything you'd like to tell the court?
Yes, I've been trying, but my addiction has really gotten the best of me. I really just need treatment.
The case ending in 0713, I'm going to revoke the prosecutor's deferred sentence and enter the conviction. Sentencing him to 89 days in jail, credit 89 served, waive all remaining terms, accept the financial obligations, and discharge from probation without improvement. In the case ending in 0366, I will order 365 days in jail with credit for 87 days served. Defendant is to serve the balance. He is to complete the in-jail Dawn Farm program I will waive remaining terms except for financial obligations and discharge from probation without improvement. With reference to council's request, certainly should that be something that comes along, and it may come along in the other cases, quite frankly, I would consider these circumstances in this case, but I will not do that at this point.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Newman. Mr. Newman, can you state your name for the record, please?
Dale Newman.
Teresa Claire on behalf of probation. Your Honor, Mr. Newman is before the court for a violation of probation. When probation initially filed the violation report, Mr. Newman had failed to provide proof of his driver improvement program and had failed to pay his fines and costs. I do have proof of his driver improvement course that he completed. However, there still is the issue with his outstanding fines and costs. He owes a balance of $1,545. He's made no payments to the court. Mr. Newman did submit an ability to pay form to the court. However, that was sent back and to be addressed at today's hearing. I did advise Mr. Newman when I advised him of that to begin making payments, and he's not done so.
You know, Mr. Newman is on Social Security. He receives about $600 a month in Social Security, and he receives some additional funds in Bridge Card and EBT.
So his entire income is Social Security?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I have the bridge card
Okay.
and I have another card that actually pays for gasoline. Well, I use it for
You
gasoline.
use it for gasoline?
Yes.
But your total income is 600
Well, it's 600 plus the bridge and the gasoline. So it's probably closer to $1,000
a month.
a rough, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So he's not working. He is 84 years old.
How old?
84. Not the.
No, I would have guessed,
Chocolate.
I would have guessed 17. I didn't know.
Well, I try to keep busy. You know,
Yes, well.
and it's healthy.
I got you.
I mean, this whole thing started
Well,
while I
no,
was
that's
trying
okay.
to clean up my yard.
It's okay.
And I had a flat tire on the trailer and I needed 11/16 socket
I will
to
say,
change the tire.
Your Honor, we just be
I mean,
asking the
that's-
court to consider reducing his fines and costs.
Pardon?
Reduce your, I'm asking the
He
court,
owes a total of 990. Well,
I think about 1,500.
you got 1,500 on it?
1540.
Hang on, maybe I'm not. Oh, I see where it is. I got it. But it's all fines and costs, right?
That is correct.
All right. Okay. Anything you want to tell me, sir?
Well, it's like I was saying, it all started because I was trying to clean up the yard. And I had a flat tire on the trailer and the 11/16 socket wasn't in the trunk. And I have a garage about 1,000 feet away from there. So I drove over to the garage and I drove through this construction site on my road. And on the way back, I had stopped because it was all blocked off with all these guys. And I waited for the traffic to clear and then I drove through.
Mr. Newman,
And I took a video of the whole thing.
4 years old. He can say what the heck he wants.
okay.
Yeah, and when I drove through, I stopped and talked with the superintendent. I says, I hope this wasn't a problem, but I'm trying to clean up the yard. So then I drive up there and I find out that the original guy that made the complaint, he called the sheriff, said that, I mean, this kid, he said I was assaulting them. I was just driving. The whole thing was under 5 miles an hour. I recorded the whole thing on my phone. Guys running out of the bushes, beating on the car. They were assaulting me. I only pled no contest because I wasn't willing to. The ladies in black, they said, you can get 20 years for this. Well, that's a life sentence.
What ladies in black?
The prosecuting attorney,
Oh,
He's not talking about me.
oh, okay. Oh, the prosecuting attorney.
the lady,
They're-
yeah.
Yeah, they're now known as.
Yeah, they told me,
Flag?
you could
Okay,
get
all right.
20 years for this, geez. So I just said no contest, because it's pretty simple thing that was going on here. I mean, it's something that I drive 2 or 3 times every day anyway, because, between the house and getting tools sometimes, just working on stuff all the time. So, I don't know, it just doesn't seem reasonable. I mean, frankly, I have plans to sue the village for lying. Those guys lied, but I'm not, but this is a democracy,
It
you
is.
got the most votes.
It's the-
Well, there were 3
the-
guys voting
yeah.
against me. I had no defense really, even though I had taken pictures of the whole thing, with my phone,
I know,
kept the
I know.
recorder on.
You told me.
Yeah, and,
Well, Your Honor, in light of all that, we'd again ask for the court's consideration.
How the youngster just wants to interrupt you. He's just telling me a
I
story.
did get the yard cleaned up.
You did?
I get to tell you, I got the tires fixed on a trailer and everything.
Okay.
Runs fine. I've been, got other yards now lately. Keeping busy.
Gotcha. All right. We're only extending his probation to pay the fines and costs.
Your Honor, that was it, yes.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna waive all his fines and costs except $250.
I can deal with that.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad I can make you happy. When can you pay the 250?
Probably within 10 days. I'll have to make arrangements to find it, but I can do that.
I'll extend his probation for additional 2 months. Figure out in 2 months how to get that paid, okay?
All right.
And then you'll pay the 250 within that time frame.
Appreciate your help.
And then I'll continue all of the terms as previously ordered for those 2 months.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You take care. Calls case people versus David Tab.
Good afternoon, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Tab. Mr. Tab, please unmute and state your name for the record, please.
David Tapp.
Thank you, sir. All right, what are we doing?
Your Honor, Mr. Tabb is before the court for a violation of probation hearing. Mr. Tabb is in violation of the order of this court in that he owes $2,175. His last payment to the court was made in June of 2022. He failed to report to probation as directed, failed to provide proof of his AA meeting attendance, and failed to provide proof of his VIP attendance. Mr. Tabb has maxed his probation in this matter. Probation recommending that Mr. Tabb be remanded to serve 180 days in jail with credit for 1 day served, to serve the balance, waive remaining terms, accept his financial obligations, and discharge him from probation without.
Your Honor, frankly, I didn't realize that he was maxed. I was going to ask to give him, the court to give him another chance to complete all of those things.
I'm out of time.
Right. I mean, just to provide a little bit of context, what happened to Mr. Tabb over the last 2 years, he did get custody of his 2 grandchildren, who are 2 and 6 years old. They have been living with him, and that has kept him very busy. He is caring for them full time. In addition to working full time, he works at Blair Logistics. He's doing car hauling 40 hours a week. He indicated to me he has not had any police contact since being sentenced on this case. He said he did do about 8 weeks of AA, but was unable to provide proof to me or Ms. Pilara. He said he could pay his fines and costs within 90 days. He's unable to pay anything today, but would be able to make a substantial payment.
Within like the first or second week of May after I pay rent. On the 1st of the month.
Yeah, what Are you're gonna pay your entire fines and costs by that time?
Not the entire, but a nice amount of,
Like a nice amount being what?
like I can do, like the first week, I can do for like about 400 or 500. Would that be
Well,
right
why
after?
didn't you pay it? Why didn't you pay it before?
At the time of the probation and everything, the first 2 months I did the 8 weeks of the Zoom AA. And my license was restricted at the time I called. I think Ms. Pelora to ask to see about getting a restricted license. So my work, by me being a car hauler, I couldn't really drive. I couldn't drive. So my boss kept me on as a helper, which was only a few days a week, to where I wasn't, I was just pretty much maintaining my bills, was able to maintain my bills.
Well,
And
sir, quite frankly, I'm out of time on the case, and so I can't. There's not much I can do. He's gonna owe the money in any event, so he might as well pay it. But it's not gonna change what I'm gonna do. Anything else, sir?
no, sir. And if I do have to do any time, can I have a few days to help get the kids situated to where
You'll have till Friday.
Friday?
I'm gonna order 180 days in jail, credit 1 day served, defendant to serve the balance. He's to report to the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. April 26, 2024, or a bench warrant will issue for his arrest. I'll waive remaining terms, accept the financial obligations, and discharge him from probation without improvement. Okay. Thank you. Court calls the case, People versus Edward Harris.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello,
Everybody.
Mr. Harris.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I don't know. I'm kind of getting sick again. That's why I got this on.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't want to get anybody sick. I'm kind of getting.
Okay, well, let's hope not.
I hope not, because I was sick last week.
I know. All right.
Good afternoon, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris, can you state your name for the record, please?
Edward Harris.
Your Honor, today is the date and time set for sentencing. We have no material changes to the PSI report and ask that you adopt probation's recommendation.
All right. Mr. Harris, anything you want to tell me before I impose sentence?
No, except I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Harris. That means a great deal to me for you to say that.
Thank you.
So sentence of the court, I'll place you on probation for a period of 18 months. You're to pay $555 fines and court costs, $540 probation oversight fees. When do you think you can get that paid, Mr. Harris?
I can start on it. It's probably gonna take me forever, but I'll start on it on the 1st, if that's okay.
Okay.
The 1st,
How much can you pay on the first?
how much you want me to pay, Your Honor?
Well, you tell me what you can pay. I'll make it affordable for you. What can you pay me?
50, okay?
50 is good.
Okay, I can pay 50. Yeah, the 1st.
The first of each month?
Yes,
Okay, we'll probably run short here, but you work with probation, okay?
thank you.
$50 per month, beginning this month coming up.
Okay,
No use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You're to continue substance abuse treatment at Ann Arbor Comprehensive Center. Follow all program requirements with status reports to probation. You're to complete a mental health assessment, follow all recommended care, including medication protocol. There's to be no contact with Terrell Brinny, excuse me, direct or indirect. No going to any CVS pharmacy locations within the state of Michigan. You understand that?
I sure do.
You're to report to probation on Wednesday, May 1st, 2024 at 1 p.m. in person, and then you'll report as directed. Okay? And I'll order 365 days in jail, credit 47 served. The balance is suspended.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor, but where'd I go on May the 1st?
On May 1st?
Right here?
Right here, you're gonna talk to Ms. Polera on May 1st.
Oh, okay.
Come see me.
Again, okay, that's fine. Okay.
You don't know Ms. Polera?
Yes.
You know Ms. Polera?
Yeah, I know her.
Okay, that's where you gotta go May 1st.
And that's where I'm going.
All right, very good. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Harris, you take care.
Okay.
Court calls the case, People versus Jesse Thomason.
Falls out of my ear.
Oh, Okay.
Particularly on behalf of Mr. Thomason, if you can unmute yourself, turn on your camera and state your name.
Jesse Thomason.
Thank you. Your Honor, this is time and date set up for sentencing. I have reviewed the pre-sentence report with Mr. Thomason. There are no material additions, omissions, or deletions. At this time, we would ask that the court adopt the probation recommendations.
Okay, very good. Sir, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
No, sir.
And just so that we know, I'm not going to place the defendant on probation at this court. He's currently on probation at the 14A2 District Court. So additional probation won't do any good, I don't think, in this particular case. Sentence of the court, $855 fines and court costs, $100 prosecution recovery costs, $100 police agency recovery costs. Will apply the bond, and how much was this bond? $2,500. Will apply the bond to those costs. Balance to be returned less administrative fee. You're to complete the CCOP program, which you completed. Provide proof of victim impact panel attendance, which you completed. I'll discontinue the sober link in this case only. And then I'll order 93 days in jail. Credit to the balance is suspended. Okay, sir?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Take care.